Hey gang, East Coast Lumberjack here. Gotta do this for my sister. She says, cover that head of yours. The glare's getting us. Hey, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the East Coast Lumberjack. And today, it's a special segment for competitors. Okay, so if you're a lumberjack competitor or if you like swinging a big axe, this is for you. How to hang a competition axe. So, first of all, a few things about a handle. So gang, if you're going to look for a handle for a competition axe, now again, some of this stuff may not matter as much if you're swinging a 2.5 pound Walters axe, you know, or you got a boy's axe or a camp axe. But when you're swinging a 5 pound razor blade, and this is what I'm talking about. Now I just got this back. Okay, this is our 5 pound razor blade, and the razor blade is all covered over because it's sharp. Okay, so this is my new one. This is a new baby. It came from Foote, and I sent it to Rob Spry. And Rob Spry is one of the best axe grinders in North America. I'd say he's probably one of the best in the world right now. Okay, he's down in New York, Pennsylvania, in the Northeast, and and Jeff Toner's with him too. Jeff, I'll tell you, there's some guys down there with some smarts. Okay, Jeff, shout out to you too, buddy. Keep at it. I haven't had one of his axes yet, but I'm going to. Now, some neat things. So, I sent this axe down. It was a fairly big axe. It's a 54, okay? So it's, what is it? There it is, right there. So, just so you know what I'm saying. Now, as you get older, all you tough guys out there, guess what? I was once tough. At least I thought I was. So this axe is 7 3/8 by 7 1/4. Okay, so that's what this axe is. And you can get them just forged. And they send them to you without the edge done. And then you can send it to your favorite axe finisher. And they can finish it for you. Okay, now I'm a long time supporter of two-tie axes. I've known Ed Fawcett for a long time. We started out back in the late 80s, early 90s. And I've been buying two-tie gear ever since. It's made me provincial champion a number of times. Set a bunch of records back in the day when I was tough. And I'm going to tell you something, you tough guys, because we're all tough, it wanes. In here, it doesn't. I'm still 6 foot tall and bulletproof. But when it comes to here, once you get over 50, things start changing. You don't have quite the spank you once did. Okay? So, if you look at the wings on the side, you can see that it gets pretty narrow here. Okay? He's taking a lot of weight out. So I told him, hey Rob, I'm not the man I once was. So he's lightened it up. So I've still got the good chopping face. It's nice and wide. It's well ground, but it's a little bit lighter for me. Okay, now the other thing I'm doing. So competitors, your choice of handles, you have ash and hickory. Now a lot of competitors think hickory is the only way to go. Okay, and hickory, give a devil his due. I made ash handles for 20 years before I started making hickory handles. And then I've been making hickory the last 10. And hickory is a flippin' impressive wood. It is tough as nails. Okay, tough as whalebone. It's unreal. But it's heavy. Okay? So ladies, and you older farts, which I'm one of, ash is the answer. Okay, so here's my ash handle. You see the grain in it? It's running nice and true as a die. So the first thing, you can pick ash or hickory. Now, ash is usually a little bit cheaper because it's easier to get. Okay, not because it's a lesser wood. Okay, even though if you look at it structurally, go to the Wood Database. Phenomenal website, Wood Database, and it'll tell you your Jenga hardness, it'll tell you your modulus of rupture and all that. Okay, and as far as strength goes, if you look at strength properties, white ash is below hickory. There's no question. It's not quite as tough, but it's light. And even though it's not quite as tough, you got to remember you're looking at things relatively to hickory and ash. But you look at ash compared to all the other woods, it's up there, okay? So it's a close second. So it does have good qualities, good characteristics. And the other thing I will tell you, competitors, okay, or if you're at a college, or ash has more give when it gets cold. That's why it grows farther north. Okay, that's why God made it. Okay, it's for us people, us northern people, to live where it's frigid. Okay, when everything starts going at minus 20, minus 30, hickory gets brittle. Okay, that's why it doesn't grow farther north. Now I've got a hickory planted on my front lawn. I'm going to watch how it grows. Okay, shagbark hickory. I'm proud of it. And deer, you better not eat it or I'll pummel you. Actually, I gotta surround it with something so they can't get at it. So ash is lighter, and it's for us people swinging it. We swung ash handles in the East for years and never had hickory. Okay, and we didn't have handles breaking left and right. Okay, so even though it's not quite as tough, it's a good wood and it'll work well, and it doesn't shatter in cold. Ash has more give when it gets really cold. So I know all you Americans that are below the 49th parallel are saying, hey baby, we don't have to worry a whole lot about cold. Okay, guys in Minnesota and Montana and Michigan, yeah, you know what, you get good winters, okay, but again, you just have to go another degree north and the winters change a lot. And I know that even in my province, as when I was a deer biologist for my career, and I always looked at how tough our winters were. In southern New Brunswick, we get about 2 to 3 feet of snow, and we get some cold. But you just drive 2 hours north of New Brunswick, and guess what? They get 6 to 7 feet of snow every year without fail. The northern part of the province, we get tough winters. And we're at the dividing line of where deer thrive and where they thrive and where they don't thrive, northern. And I see it all the time, okay? So it makes a huge difference. Those few degrees of latitude make a huge difference. So, ash or hickory, and they're both good, okay? Hickory is tougher. And if you're in a warm climate, go with hickory. It's a tough handle. But if you need a little bit, if you want to swing a little bit faster, or you're worried a little bit about weight, ash is a phenomenal option, okay? And this is one here. So the other thing you want to look at, competitors, run down the barrel of that. It should be straight as a die. Now, if it isn't straight, you can straighten it. Put it in a vise and bend it where the bend is in your wood. So if the bend is here, don't bend it down here. Bend it where your bend is. Bend it back. Okay? Bend it back, hang it, and see if it stays there. Most times it'll stay there. Now, if your wood's under compression, if it was grown in a tree that had a lot of compression and tension when it was growing, you can straighten that, and after a bit, it will tend to go back if there's a lot of compression and tension in the wood. Okay, typically you don't have to worry about that, and especially with my handles, because your grain's running nice and straight. But sometimes you get a stubborn handle, and if that happens, pop it out, put a new one in. Okay, so your grain needs to be running straight down the handle. So check the ends. Okay. Needs to be straight up and down here, straight up and down here. That is a good handle. Straight up and down on both ends and lengthwise. And I know from tests, we did tests at the UNB Science Facility and at UNB and at the Forestry Complex in New Brunswick. And grain running crossways busted earlier than grain running lengthwise. So we know that for a fact. Okay, so that's the next thing. Now, you don't want a lot of run out. Now, run out. Competitors are saying, what the heck, run out? Okay. For those of us in the handle world, this is run out, okay? So what happens is your grain goes across the handle, and you get 2 or 3 of these growth rings you can see along the length of the handle. So this one here has 4, okay? Right down here, because this one here stays there. So it comes out and goes back in. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, the East Coast Lumberjacks rule of thumb, no more than 25% run out. So 4, I better have 16 grains in this, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I have 14 grains. This way, I have more this way, of course, because it's wider. Now, if you get those grains coming out down here, don't sweat it. It's going to, because your shape of your handle is going out across those grains. So you're going to see what looks like run out at the bottom. Doesn't mean a thing. Where it matters is along the length of the handle. Now, this side here, you can see that. That's all one grain there. So 1 here, 2, 3 on this side. Okay? So again, 14 grains, 3 out. So again, I'm within my 25% tolerance. That's my rule of thumb. Now, I am putting this handle in my new chopping axe for a reason, because I want to see if this runout is going to cause any problem. I'm going to test what I've been saying all along, that you shouldn't have any more than 25%. Now, I don't expect, because most of my grains are still in my handle wood. There's only a few going out. Most of the grains are running the full length of the handle. So of my 14 grains, 10 of them stay within the handle. Okay, so that's pretty good strength. And but I'm going to test it in this. Okay, I'm going to test it in this, and that's why I'm doing it. So the next thing you want to do, so we know our species, we know it's straight, and we know our grain's good. Okay, not a lot of runout. So once you have all that, the next thing you want to know is handle length. How long do I want my competition handle? Now, I will tell you, it does come down to personal preference, and the bigger the person, the longer the handle they can get away with. But I'll tell you, an inch makes a lot of difference, okay? So, guys like Nate Hodges, short, compact, strong as an ox, okay? He swings a shorter handle because of the way he chops. He's a clubber. So he doesn't slide his hands, he just clubs away, and he clubs fast. So the shorter the handle, the faster you can maneuver that thing. Okay, so he's ordered, I think, 28 inches, 27, 28 inches from me. He's gone with 28 inches, but on some of his handles, you'll even see him taped up a little bit higher. Okay, that's a longer handle, and he's made it for standing block or something else. Okay, so 27, 28 inches is probably the shortest I'd go with. Ladies, 27 to 28, and ladies are starting to do a lot of standing block shopping. A shorter handle will make you accurate faster. Okay, ladies? And the other thing is, we know you're just not designed with big shoulders. Okay, there are a few. I've got a daughter, Emily. I'll tell you, she's got a set of shoulders that makes me look like a runt. Okay, so there are ladies out there that are bigger across the shoulders. Most aren't. Okay, and because of that, because you have less strength through your, just the way God made you, because of that, it takes a little bit. It's a standing block is a little bit harder event because of the strength factor. So listen, I tell my daughter this. She'll actually probably hang me for saying this online. Push-ups, ladies. Push-ups will give you strength through your shoulders. It'll help you. And when I coached, I always made my ladies do push-ups when they were missing their pulp throwing. Okay, so they missed 2 or 3 logs and get them to do push-ups. They thought I was being cruel. I was helping them because, of course, it strengthened them through the upper body. And then guess what? In a month or two, they're getting 3, 4 logs in the pulp throw. Okay? There's a method to my madness. So anyhow, so ladies, a shorter handle will work better for you in the standing block. Okay, you'll be accurate a lot faster, and you'll get better quicker. Okay, so another word to the wise. Now, 27, 28 inches is what I make most of my ladies' handles, and I make them a little bit narrower and a little bit narrower this way. Okay, so they're a little bit smaller around because typically ladies don't have massive hands. Okay, so you want a little bit smaller axe handle. So because if it's too fat, you're spending all your strength holding on to your handle. Okay, you don't want to spend all your strength here. You want your strength to come from your core and your upper body and your legs when you're swinging. Okay, so make your handle a little thin. Now they're wood, so because they're wood, get your rasp out or your spoke shave and make it a little smaller. Make it to fit your hand. We went to the Worlds one year. Oh, Sterling, I hope you don't mind me sharing this, but Sterling spent the whole time we were at the Worlds, and it was the year he won. He spent the whole time with a rasp, rasping his handle perfect. That's what he spent his time at. Not skipping rope, not doing a lot of, making his handle fit his hand perfect. That's what he spent his time on, because I was there with him. I watched him. Every time we were doing other stuff, he was rasping that handle. And I thought, right on, Sterling. So anyways, you want it to fit nice. Now, once we get that far, and you got the right, okay, let's a little bit more in length, okay? Now, I've got 2 big lads, Ben and Nathan, and they're great competitors. Very proud of them. Very proud of all my kids. But they're big dudes. So we also played around with a longer handle because I knew that great big monster could swing that handle. The power he'd generate would be unreal. So we put a 31-inch handle in one of Nathan's axes. Okay, so again, we're talking 27 to 31. That's only 4 inches, but it makes a world of difference out there on the end of that axe. Now, 31 inches, he can hit hard anyhow, okay? It's like another Braden Myers, okay? Those guys are going to hit hard. I don't care what they're swinging. They can swing a banana. They're going to hit hard. It's the way they're made. But what we learned is if you get up, and I know some college teams have ordered some 30, 31-inch handles from me, and I cringe a little bit. Now, maybe they're for splitting axes or something, which is fine. But if it's in a chopping axe, it is going to slow you down. And it does. And that's what bothered Nathan. With that long handle, it slowed down his cadence. Okay? Now, you're always balancing speed and power. But I want to tell you something. It's a fine line. And if I can swing twice, which I try to do now that I'm getting older, if I can hit the axe twice and go that far, I'm sinking it farther than one of your swings going this far. Okay? That's just logic. Okay? So we're always balancing that. Now, because my kid can drive it that far, and I can only drive it that far, even my two swings don't make up for his one. Which explains why I'm always finishing behind him. So, that's length. 30 inches is most people will swing 30 inches. Now, I always swung 30 inches my whole career. Now, I'm swinging 29. A little bit lighter and a little bit shorter so that I can keep my speed up. And, of course, it's going to take away a little bit from my power, but it helps with my speed. Okay? So there's a lot on handles for competition choppers. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to hang this for you, okay? And I'm going to show you how to properly hang a chopping axe, because it matters. And this matters even in the small axes, but it matters a ton in our world. So, couple things. When you're putting this axe on, the toe of the axe, the heel of the axe, and the top of your palm swell, that is all in a straight line, okay? So the toe, the heel, and the palm swell. And the reason for that is if it's in a straight line, you're always going to be hitting the center part of your radius on your edge. That's where you want to be hitting, other than in springboard chop, where you're going to chop more with the heel. But on standing block and underhand, you want that axe to be sitting so that when you swing it and it hits the wood, the center of that curve is what hits the wood first, because it penetrates better. It'll penetrate better, and you'll get to use all the chopping face. So if your axe is sitting, now Chinas are tough. I know a lot of us have China practice axes. They don't sit that nice. You got to really mess around a lot with them to get the toe and the heel lined up with this. And I know that because I've hung a ton of them. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is the length of the blade. When you look down your handle and the blade sitting on the axe up here, the edge wants to be sitting right in the middle of your palm swell. Right in the middle. So that when you swing that axe, you know it's going to strike exactly where you want it to. You must line up those two things on chopping axes. Now, I do that on all my axes, but especially on a 5-pound razor blade. The third thing I'm going to tell you, do not score around your handle. That's a huge no-no. It creates a weak point, and I've seen, again, I've been doing this for 38 years I've been doing this, okay? And back when I first started, back in the 80s, we did that. We would score right around there at UNB and set that axe head down there, feel really good, and it was split right from that score down the handle. And I learned from experience that that's not smart, okay? You want it, and if you look at all the axes that are hung down under, okay, and the Aussies and Kiwis are phenomenal at this, and we know that. And it's nice and it's a smooth transition right into the axe head. Now, even though it looks like it's straight, there's a little bit of a bevel there, okay? So as the head's coming down, it's cinching up at the bottom. That's what you want. You want it nice and snug the whole way inside of that eye. So the way I'm going to show you to hang it will get you to do that, okay? It'll stay tight the whole way down there. That's what you want. And then you wedge the top, and that thing's not coming off. Do not, cardinal rule for the East Coast Lumberjack, do not tighten a chopping axe by sticking in a bucket of water. It's a huge no. you're rusting the inside of your, it causes a ton of problems, okay? And I just changed a couple handles, actually, John Foote. I'm calling you out, buddy. I changed both those handles. Or actually, I left them in there. But I could tell from your practice axes. When I see that gray, it's actually starting to be rot around the outside, right? And I see the rust along the edge of that eye. I know either you've left them out in the rain or you've stuck them in a water bucket. You can't fool the East Coast Lumberjack. Anyhow, that's a huge no-no, okay? What happens, and I'll tell you, just okay, I know I'm razzing with John. John's a great guy. He's helping out a lot at the college, and I'm really thankful. But what happens is, every time you do that in a bucket of water, the wood will shrink further. So it'll become more loose over the long haul as you keep putting it in and out of that bucket of water, plus the rust and everything else you're causing. Okay? So the best thing to do, and when it's loose, pop the wedge out, drive a new one in. That's how you fix a sloppy handle. Okay? A loose handle. So, now that I'm done my rant, let's show you how we hang this axe. Okay? All that stuff, I know it's been 20 minutes, but all that stuff matters a lot, okay? It's hugely important to getting this done right. So now that we have a straight, there's a handle there, how's that? Just as straight as a die. The grain in it's beautiful, so now we're going to hang it. Friendly Giant used to say, look up, look way up. Well, I say, look down, look way down, because that's where we're going to work. So all you want to do, put your axe, and I'm doing this because I see a lot of people still hanging axes wrong. Okay, so this is my a little bit of advice to all the lumberjacks out there and lumberjills. So I've got a little bit of run out on this side, and they're falling that way. So I know I'm going to have to use my rasp in the opposite direction. On my handles, when you get an East Coast Lumberjack handle, this is the shape of the top. You're going to take off a lot of wood here and a lot of wood here. That's where most of the wood comes off, because my handles are made to fit almost perfectly. This is the shape of your eye. So you see, you got to bring it in here and bring it in here. So it's fairly straight here, rounded, straight, and then it tapers in right here. And it's a great eye dimension, because most of your wood is in the eye. That's where you want your wood. So I need to take off wood on this surface, and the other thing I do, my handles, if I make it the Aussie pattern, actually right here where the shoulder is, if you go up here 4 inches, it's 29 inches. Okay, and you can go a 30 or 31 if you want, but it's 29 to here. So that means the first 2 inches you're going to be going past that and setting it down here. But you can also, mount it up here, and it'll give you a lot longer handle. And if you mount it up here, take this out, okay? Bring your shoulder up higher for that longer handle. If you put a 30-inch in, which most people do, okay? It feels a lot nicer up there if you've got it's thin at 30 inches. Or sorry, it's your shoulder height, which would be 26 inches. So, take it down. All you want to do is get the head started. That's all we want to do right now. So even though I'm going to go the whole length of this and smooth it out around, I just want the head started on there. So your goal initially is just to seat the head, okay? So I just want to seat the head. Whew, getting hot. You're probably saying, geez, Carmen, you just started. Talking takes a lot out of me. Okay, so I'm going the whole way along, but I'll show you what I've done once I've done this side. So, remember how our axe head looked? Same thing. See that? It's coming around here, straight up, and then coming in. Okay, so I want that on both sides. Both sides I want like that. I'm going to take this and do the same thing on the other side. Stanley Sureform. Great little rig. I'm going to round the corner here a little bit. I'm going to round the back of it a little bit because I know it's going to have to be rounded to get on there. Now, I want to check it. Okay, so I'm still, and I usually make my eyes 3/4 to 7/8 of an inch. So it's a little bit bigger than your eye. But let's look here now at my shape. Okay, so see the shape? Rounded both here and then comes in here. Now I need a little bit more off of this side. That's all right, it's getting close. So now because it's still a little bit thick this way, I need to take it down just a whisker so that the head will slide on. Remember, at this stage, the goal is just to seat the head. You just want it slipped on there a little bit. So we'll take a little bit off of this side, and I'm just focusing on the end. Okay, don't have to worry about the whole length of it yet, just the end. And a little bit on this side. There, let's try it again. Oh, close. Okay, so a little bit more on both of these surfaces. We're almost there. Okay, we're almost there. I'm going to round out the back. I'm going to take it down just a whisker more. You don't want to take a whole ton off the whole length of it, because if you take too much off, your head's going to be loose the whole way along, and we don't want that in a competition axe. Okay? Just want it started. There. Okay? We're on. Now, I'm on there. I'm probably 3/4 of an inch on. Okay? But now you check your lines. Toe, heel, and this line. I do it right along the edge of my bench. Okay. So I know it's sitting too much this way, so I'm going to tip it. Okay, I'm going to tip it down a little bit, like that. So I've tipped it this way. Almost perfect right now. And then, now, usually I have to take the black off so I can look right along the edge. But I can tell from this, I'm sitting a little bit here. Okay, so I'm a little bit to this side. I want to be in the center, but I'm a little bit to the side. So that tells me my axe head has got to go this way. So that means I need to take a little bit more wood off of here so it tips in. So I will always mark that, because sometimes when I take it out and flip the axe around, or the handle, I forget. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to tap it on a little bit. Hammer. Okay, right here. Now, don't pound it on a lot. Just pound it on easy. And I'll tell you why. Because you're going to keep having to poke this out through here to get it out again. And if you wind up pounding it, if you pound it on hard, you got to pound it off hard. And then that starts beating up the top of your axe handle. Just tap it on a little bit like that. It's easy to come out. And see, I barely dented. You can hardly tell where I tapped that. So now you look around this, you can see I'm dragging here. I'm dragging everywhere, which is good. If I'm dragging everywhere, it means it's tight the whole way around the eye, which is what we want. But I know I need to take a little bit more off of this side, because I want to tip that blade just a little to line up perfectly in line with this end. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Share this with all your competitor buddies and all your college buddies. Okay, let them know that this is a tutorial on how to hang a chopping axe, so everybody knows. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit more off of this and a little bit more off of here, because I know it has to swing a little bit on the handle. Now I will smooth it out around here just a little bit. Because the other thing we need to do, we know it fetches up in there about 1.5 inches. It's fetching up. So I know it's too fat there. So from 1.5 inches down to about 2.5, 3 inches, I'm shaping the whole thing. So I'm basically making that wedge a little bit longer. So now I'm going to smooth it out a little bit. This is a Nicholson wood rasp, Home Depot. Okay, for all you people that want to know where to get your gear. So I'm just going to smooth it out the whole way down there. So that it's going to slide on a little bit farther this time. I'll round out the front of it. So there's this side. So all I've done is taken it down a little bit more. Okay, I've taken it down from here. I've taken it down to here now, and down to here now. And again, I know I want this sitting down here at 29 inches. So I'm going to do this the full length. This side hasn't been done yet. It's still rough rasped. And of course, I don't want to take a lot off of this side because I want this side to stay fat so it helps pull that blade over. Okay, so we're going to put it on. All I'm going to do with this side is just smooth it up. I'm not going to take a whole lot of material off because I want it to help pull that head straight. I'm just going to take off a little bit of the roughness. And then what we're going to do, we're going to put the axe head back on and try it again. Okay, now I haven't rolled it out back here yet, so I'm just rounding it at the back here. Now, the other thing I will say, most handles that are made by East Coast and a few of the people down under, they taper down. They get a little bit wider as you go down the axe handle. So what that means, see this one here, is a little bit wider down this way. Now I've taken a bunch of it off, but you got to remember that because as you're putting your head on, it's going to keep getting a little bit snugger, a little bit tighter. Now, it should slide right on, which it does. Okay, you see it slide in there? And it is perfect right now. That black is perfectly in line with the center of my handle. See that? Let's check the other way. Toe, heel. Okay, I'm still up a little, so I need to take it out here because I got to tip it down. So we need to take a little bit more wood out right here. So I don't forget, I'll put a little mark. So, okay, we're doing great, and we're almost to the pinhole, okay, for your spring pin. So we're halfway there now, and actually we know we're not quite even half because we've got to go on even a little bit further than that. So next thing I want to tip this down a little bit, so I'm gonna take some of that off on the face, the front side of the handle. Okay, so I want to bring it this way a little bit. So I'm going to shape it down here. I'm going to smooth it out. Now I will say, the other thing I will say, ash works a lot easier than hickory. Okay, hickory would take a little bit longer than this because it's a little bit tougher wood. Okay, so there it is again. Now same thing. Slide it onto there. Now I'm going to tap it on a little bit more. So the handle, so the axe head will tell me what I have to take off. So just tap, tap, and as that gets deep, deep, a little bit higher in sound, slow down. Okay, so you can see where we're at now. We're 2/3 of the way on. But again, I want to come down another 3 inches. That's where I want to be. Let's can see the eye. The wood is filling that eye perfectly. That's what you want the whole way down. So don't be in a panic. I know you college kids got a lot to go. I did it all. I was there. I know. But if you hurry it, you're going to do it a lot more. It's better to take your time and do it right once than to go fast and have to hang 3 of them in the same year. So you look again, you can see, look there. See how it's tightening up? Okay, around both sides. So that's telling us where we have to take more wood off. But we're getting close. We're halfway now, easily. Okay, we're halfway easily. Now my spoke shave is gumming up awful on me, which tells me that my blade is getting a little dull. Even though you can't see it, you take the blade out and you try it and you say, oh, that's still pretty sharp. If it's clogging up on you, it's not sharp enough. So I'm going to have to stone that again here when I get a minute. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit more off. This thing is driving me nuts. Needs sharpening. I'm going to go back to this, which is fine. Does a good job. So a little bit more off of here. And the back. Let's see now. We want that down. Yeah, so it doesn't matter a whole lot in the back. I can leave that there in the back because I want to tip it down a little bit, remember? So, Nicholson, smooth it out. So this is going to be my axe. So the boys are coming here. The film crew, Taylor and the film crew from Steel are coming here in about 3 hours. So I want this axe hung so I can try it out there on the deck with my boys. Now, it's ground for pine. I got some stinking ugly blocks the last 2 years at the Steel Timbersports Trophy. That western pine stunk to chop. I chopped for over a minute at an underhand. Never done that in my life. Now again, I know some people say, oh, Cumberland, you're getting old. I trained for that Champions Trophy for 3 months. Okay, I was in the shape of my life. It was no problem to go 2 minutes at all. But that chopping for a minute took the wind right out of me, and I was so ugly. Now, number one, my axe, I used a Kingi flat. It did not chop that wood very well, number one. But the wood, the block was harder than the hubs you know where, and the judge that got the wood admitted it. So, anyways, it's too bad. I'd love redemption. I've got the axe to do it with, I hope. Still going to try it. But I'm announcing this year. I'm not competing. And I love to announce, so I'm kind of looking forward to it. Okay, so now we've got that done. Now all we're going to do is smooth it out again. So again, you just do it in steps. We've gone down another 1.5 inches, making it the same size. Now I'm going to smooth it out. The whole way down. So it's a nice gradual slope into your eye. There. Now we're going to do it again. So this is what, third time? Third time we're sliding on. Okay, and we're 3/4 of the way on right now. Okay? So you're going to keep doing this. Okay? Once it fetches up, leave it. So we're there, look. We've got about 1/4 inch to go. So I'm going to check my lines again. Toe, heel. That's perfect. And we're shooting right down there. Just now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this off because I want to make sure, I'm where I'm supposed to be. So I'm going to have to take off my my protection around the edge here. Now you got to be careful with this because these things are razor sharp. So if that comes off in a hurry, you may wind up needing about 100 stitches. So don't be in a hurry. Even though we're at the 35-minute mark of the video. There we go. There we go. Almost there. Good job, Rob, taping that. Obviously not your first barbecue. Okay, so that's enough now that I can see the edge. And we are spank on in the middle. Okay, so that's good. That's good. So now we're going to pop it out again. So all I need to do now, right where it is now, my handle length, I know it's going to be 30, almost 31. Oh, actually, that's not too bad. Okay, it's 32 right there, but I've got another, so I need 2 more inches. I got to go down, actually 2 more inches. So, same thing, I'm going to put this back up here and just tap that out. I've got my drift out in the other shop. So I've got that little, so see, of all the tapping we've done, look, that's all we've done right there. Okay, so, and that's what you want. You want very minimal damage at that end of the axe. Okay, so now you're going to look, same place, we've got some drag marks here, so wherever we're having drag marks, that's where we want to take wood off. Okay, we take the wood off, smooth it out. Stay a little bit high on the back, because remember, we want it to tip down, so I'm leaving a little bit high here. This side here, you can see where it's dragging. We're going to take that all off of there. Make that nice and clean, because that's what's holding your axe head from going any further. So we're going to take this off. Nice. So smooth it out, round the back a little bit more. And smooth it out up front here where we know it's dragging. How to tame your dragon. You know it's dragging there. So, and keep smoothing. Keep it smooth the whole way down, so you've got a nice gradual transition. Even though it's gradually getting a little bit wider, it's still nice and smooth. Okay, that feels good. So now, okay, beautiful. Now look where we are. Okay, so I'm almost to where I want to be. And it's still, look how snug it is the whole way along there. That's what you want. You want it nice and snug the whole length of that eye, the whole length of that barrel. Now tap it a little bit. That's almost where I want to be. Let's measure this. .30.5. Okay, 30.5. Now the good thing is, now that it's popped out that far, it's easy to get it out. All I gotta do is tap the wood. Okay, whole thing comes right clear. So see how that's slipping on, and look, it's dragging the whole way. it's snug the whole length. That's what you want. So I need another inch, and then I'm going to wedge it. Okay, I'm going to show you. Stick with me for the whole thing. Okay, so this has taken about an hour to hang an axe. That's what it's going to take, with the whole works of it. But you can either do it this way and do it right, or you can hang 3 handles. It's up to you. I'm showing you the way to do it to get her done right. You won't have a problem with your axe or your handle. And smooth it out the whole way around, because this will be the last time. When I tap it on this time, I'm going to go right snug the whole way to the bottom, and then we're going to wedge it. Okay? A little bit here. Okay, that's it. So now you can see I'm not doing a whole lot of work at this point. Okay, I'm just taking a little bit off here, a little bit off there, because it's snug now. We're almost where we want to be. So I'm taking a little bit off at the bottom. The rest of it I'm leaving. Okay. Smooth it out here. So there, we're snug and smooth the whole way. Now, the other thing you may have to do, my head is going to end up here. My kerf is here, halfway down. So I know I need to bring my kerf 2/3 of the way down here. So I got to put another 1.5 inches on my kerf down here so they don't split my handle. Okay. Now the other thing I know I need to do is I need to take about 1 inch off of the top, because I want to be able to get my wedge in there. Okay, so I've shortened it up here because I want to make sure I can drive my wedge in there as far as I need to. So this is it. This is for all the marbles. This is the last hang. Okay, and it's already in past that, which is nice. And I'm going to pound it so that it's right on my shoulder, because I know that's about a 29.5 inch handle. Okay, right there. Okay, and it's snug as can be. Let's measure this right now. Okay, from there to there. It should be hopefully 29.5. Not hopefully, it will be. 29.75. So maybe just a smidgen more. Okay, so that's it. So there it sits. Okay. Now what we do, we take our wedge, insert it into our slot, and because we've made it nice and snug the whole way, I don't need a lot of wedging. Okay, that's the other benefit of this. So I'm going to keep pounding this in, and keep work front to back along your wedge. Okay, because the back will go down and open it up a little bit, and the front will go down and open it up a little bit for the back. You just keep going back and forth, and you'll get that in there just as far as you can. Okay, once it starts busting, once it starts breaking and busting, it's gone as far as it can go. So now I'm going to cut it off and leave it just a smidgen proud. Okay, just a little bit above. I'm going to take my knife, and I'm going to just take off those rough edges, these corners right here. Okay, just take those corners off a little bit so I don't gouge myself on those. Same thing, flip it over and take this corner off here. Okay. The last thing I do, we need to pin it. A word to the wise, make your drill bit a little bit smaller than your 3/16 spring pin. So I've got a 1/4 inch drill bit. Sorry, I've got a 1/8. The other thing, only drill part way through. Flip it over. Do not try to go the whole way through. You will not hit the hole. I've done this 100 times. Go part way one way, then go part way the next. And they will meet up in the middle, and your hole will go the whole way through. Spring pin. Set it in. It fits in the metal nice, but it stops at the wood because your wood's a little bit smaller, so it'll hold it snug. Pound your spring pin in. How to properly hang a competition axe, a racing axe. And whether you're in Canada, United States, New Zealand, Australia, France, Italy, Switzerland, you name it, that's how it's done. Okay? That will put it on proper. Straight as a die, right in the middle of my handle. I can't wait to swing this baby. Rob, I'll let you know how we make out. Now, when you feel it, there's a few little spots on it here, a little rough here. Take your sandpaper, and you can do your fine tuning from here. So, that is how to hang a competition racing axe. A 5-pound razor blade. Start to finish with the East Coast Lumberjack. Follow this every time, you will not have a problem. Enjoy. Glad you came out and watched the channel. Keep tuning in.